Alright, sorry about that, folks. I think I've managed to jury rig something here with the holder so it doesn't snap off every time I move the freaking camera. I'm fed up with this thing. Anyway, sorry for dropping off. Alright, there we go, now we're picking with this.
Thank you so much. So, we're in this learning phase of life. It seems to be at some point you guys got to start doing an action. And I know that sometimes you realize the politicians or the big businessmen can do
With me for a second.
I definitely feel the movement has always started with just a few people. And you guys are doing that here today. And I really small forever.
Take it slow, never know what to say. Why you go back to bed when the stocks are ever changed? Who am I feeling now? Break me and I know it's not real. Take me back where we choose. Each day's battle to go from how we roll. Cold you, I said the cold, like they would, finally know. Cold you see, we never met. Do the wrong, but just be good.
the bass, run it down for you guys. Check it out. This is the pedal-powered event. The pedals to my right and left is actually the main speaker's power. If they jump off the bike, the power comes out. If you guys want to help out with this event, you guys can jump on a bike whenever they put a hand in the air. Yes, yes. Sway free movement, pedal-powered music.
San Francisco.
Tell me it's better if all of the stays the same.
No company is really good. They all suck.
Take me back, we choose. Which days bottle will go from how we Thanks so much for making out here for a good cause, for good movement, slow food movement, slow transportation, utilizing your lifestyle. You jump on a bicycle, go to your locally grown organic food, Rainbow Groceries I'm a fan of, and all these different people out here that are coming and supporting such an awesome cause. This is making a better predicament. This is called Better Predicament. Seasons start to change from summer to fall rain, and back into winter again as we start to display. We're forward soon, just breathing these fumes. It's getting harder to live without thinking of you. I don't want your own machine, stop making babies crying. No, 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 no. I don't want your own machine, stop making babies cry. There's a fool on the street, why use what you mean? Mirror you for your pain, making me really see it's a better predicament if I just close my eyes. Make a system without need to compromise. Evolution is weird, generations of past. Like the new or the cave down, the capitalist with the whip to enslave off our shores. Took a soul, make a symbol, but become the slave. But we knew what had happened when our backs turned around. Really at the beach, and the picture on the nose on the ground. Watch how it go! Seasons start to change, summer to rain, and back into winter again as we start to display. We're forward soon, and breathing these fumes. It's getting harder to live without thinking of you. I don't want your own machine, stop making babies crying. I don't want your own machine, stop making babies crying. Don't think it will last, the vision will pass. You're giving us your time and nothing but an offer. Beauty of my mind that will make me whole. And if that lies, as elders build vision for crystallized. Seasons start to change from
songs away in heaven to talk as we step to this place. Open soon, or breathing these fumes. It's getting hotter soon. I don't want your war machine. Stop making babies cry. I don't want your war machine. Stop making babies cry. Don't you ever everywhere you go. Watch it. Come on. Stop it. There's a fool on the street behind you. We need no you who you breathe, making me really see. It's a recommend if I just close my eyes. A system without greed or compromise. Evolution is the regeneration device. Make a new order to take down the capitalist gang. The whip to enslave our shores. So consume and consumer will become the state. Then we knew what it is, and I'm bouncing around. Belly of the beast, living for 200 years on our ground. Gotta deal with my children making products for the steel. Coming up around from dinosaur bone. I don't want your throne, I don't want your throne. Slow down and then the soul. The seasons start to change from summer to the rain. In autumn to winter again, we start to display. Overconsumed, we're breathing these fumes. It's getting hard to feel it without thinking of you. Awesome. How you guys doing out here in the sunshine? Little hot, little hot. Enjoying the global warming weather. Me as well. So my name's Justin, and Cello Joe played earlier around 11:15, 11:30. We both have some CDs if you want to support the music. We also are strong believers in localizing. We have gone from driving our vehicles to selling our vehicles, Cello Joe and I, and that's my bike and that's his bike. And we have this one bike, one speaker system, making two speakers, which is pedal powered by Rock the Bike. It's a customized speaker system here from the Bay Area. And we are really trying to make a movement with localizing our power, our education, our food, our transportation, our livelihood. So if you guys want to get involved in localizing your life, please see these people around here and also talk to us. If you want to support, there's donations at the different booths around here, and we also have our CDs and t-shirts for sale. So some more canciones like this. This is called The Counterculture, a movement. I'm gonna stand till my feet get numb. My stubbornness is wet, I will not stop. Take it slow, you never know what's ahead. You might go back to bed when the stocks forever change. Silence your mind, let's start one. It's time to start joining the fun.
One of our speakers went out.
Silence your mind, let's start one. It's time to start joining the fun. Cause all the people over here need to feel the love from all the places over there where you think too much. Let your mind soar. Think people action, the best way to get them, but all stress and your passion. Your passion. This is the counterculture zone. Respect both sides, we must get along. This is the counterculture. Go! Respect both sides, we must get along. This is the counterculture. You hate this and I hate that. You think it's bliss and I think that's crap. But everyone got their opinion of things. They try not to please dominating our things. This is structure this and structure that. You think it's bliss and I think that's crap. But everyone got their opinion. Why not? Counterculture zone. Respect both sides, we must get along. This is the counterculture. This is the counterculture zone. Respect both sides, we must get along. This is the counterculture. You say right. We don't need reason to stay. Say right. We have all these reasons to play. Jojo, you gotta say it. These days, we show you that nobody these days. Oh, so you that I believe these days. Oh, so you that you counterculture zone. Split both sides, we must get along. This is the counterculture. Counterculture zone. Split both sides, we must get along. This is the counterculture. Awesome. We have one more song for you guys. Totally. And thank you, Monica, again for inviting us out here and doing pedal power in the sunshine. If you guys want to support, we have a donation tip area and CDs and t-shirts. And also, there's also a free festival going on at You Love. It's called You Love Festival at 111 Mill. We'll be playing there at 8 p.m. It's going for 12 hours straight. And it's raising money for dental work for musicians, actually. Kind of cool idea as well. So please go to your local farmers markets. I think that's the
going to
direct
that
way
too,
we
right?
can actually take
Bad
action.
energy.
Also, we can
What?
be voting on good causes as well. But just go to your local farmers markets, jump on a bicycle, bring it on a big cargo bike, or make a cart, something like that. Get creative. This is called Living It Up.
Pamela Park is going to play at 7:30. Just Naked Soul is going to play at 2:30.
Living it up, living it down. Ain't no love to a woman in town. All night, out and all day. So long, baby, you know the stakes. Dishing the dirt, taking the clean. Oh my, but you know what I mean. Living it up, living it down. Don't when it comes around. Here we go, here we go. Live, 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 live. Living it up, living it down. Live, 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 live. Living it up, living it down. Live, 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 live. Sound the moon, sing basking in the sun. Yeah, oh, nachos, California. Come on. Ain't gonna change, won't stay the same. Day by day, keep playing this game. Never to know, beyond the grave. Just can't stop, will never be here. Fishing it up, doing it dry. Just make sure it's all you got now. Come on, here we go. Live, 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 live. Living it up, living it down. Live, 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 live. Living it up, come on, living it down. Just live, 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 live. Living it up, come on, that's it. Funky bass and drums, break down in the second round. Let's stand this motion of sound. So, the sun is shining down. We're going to be saying howling at the moon, and I want to hear you guys howl at the moon. We got to hear how many people are out here for no GMO food. Yes. That's a good howl at the moon. When I say howl at the moon, you go, oh, just like that. Here we go. Howl at the moon. You guys can do better than that. I think your first howl better than that. Come on. Let's see it again. Just howling at the moon. Basking in the sun. Yeah, all night just having fun. Come on. Ain't gonna change. Won't stay the same. Day by day, keep playing my game. Come on. as it were, and we on the break. Just can't stop it, won't never behave, no. Dishing it up, doing it twice. Just make sure it's all you got now. Here we go! Live, 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 living it up, living it down. Live, 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 living it up, living it down. Live, 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 living it up. Thank you, Dave Cabello on drums, Adam Loudermilk, Cello Joe over here, he has his own CDs, and Monica for inviting us out. Pedal Power Music, give it up to the Pedal Power people on both sides of the stage, which is you in just a minute. So keep powering all the speakers, we have some more people coming up and doing some talks in just a moment. Monica.
For those of you just joining us, we're at the Greater
Thank
Good
you,
Food
Justin.
Fair.
Thank you all for coming out. We're
Civic
so
Center
grateful
Plaza,
for this
San
moment
Francisco.
all together here to talk about our issues, our concerns, our call to action, and our next steps. I wanted to introduce the National Defense Council's Green Leader of 2013, our beloved keynote speaker, Tezo Mak. Round of applause, please. We asked him to tell his story. This is captivating. Please listen.
I guess you need to see the shade.
Yeah, it's not reason I'm here. It's a good day to wear
Good
black.
afternoon, everybody.
Fairness.
Thank you for inviting me to this great event. I want to thank all the really great organizers of this event. A bunch of really committed
Actually, it works better from a little
folks,
distance.
committed to the
More,
organic movement, committed to the non-geo
More
movement.
for the eye to see.
And I'm basically honored to be back here again. I have some really great friends out in the audience here, people who support the work we do. My name is Tezo Somok, and I'm with the South Central Farmers. We came out of a social struggle out of downtown LA back in 2003. We used to have the largest urban farm in the U.S. It was 14 acres right in the middle of downtown, just like this. We were 3 miles away from City Hall. And there was a lot of, if you're interested in the story itself, you can watch The Garden by Scott Kennedy. The documentary was nominated for an Academy in 2009, and it really covered a lot of the work that we did and a lot of the struggle that happened at that time. Unfortunately, we were evicted in 2006, in June. We were evicted by 385 sheriffs and LAPD.
Boo.
It was a national day of, basically full day of media coverage about this situation. We were able to raise all the money for land, which was $16.3 million at that time, but the owner wouldn't take the money, and so we were eventually kicked out. But that's part of what got us started. The rest of the story is how we got here, how this year we were given the NRDC Growing Green Justice Award to take the struggle of what we had captured in 2003 and to really address the concern that many of you have about your food system. What does it mean to be eating healthy food? What does it mean to know what goes into your food? What does it mean to have that relationship with your producer of your food that goes in your table and ultimately it goes into your body? And so after we were evicted, we were farming in Fresno for about a year. A gentleman that had seen us on TV, he was so moved that he invited us to work at his farm before he passed away. We farmed there for about a year. When he passed away, he left us a little bit on his estate. We were able to purchase some land in Bakersfield, and so we bought 85 acres of land. We spent like 3 years fundraising to put in all the infrastructure, and we were able to do that. And in 2010, we were able to move to that site, and we've been working from there. So over that period of time, we developed several programs in the city. One of them was how to continue to struggle for the existing site. So we have prevented the development on that site for over 7 years. There was an attempt to put a giant warehouse on it. We fought that with the community. We organized the community and we prevented that from happening. Recently, in the last year, they attempted to put 4 warehouses, and we did the same organizing with the community, and we prevented that from happening. And our goal has always been that that piece of land should be restored to its original community garden space for the people around in the area who really need it a lot. Another one of the programs that we developed has been this, the community-supported agricultural model, which means people buy into supporting your farm so that they can have access to organic, affordable produce. So we have been running this program for over 7 years now. We have the most affordable prices for our boxes. We have a sliding scale pricing so that people can participate. We really have expanded the idea of community-supported agriculture. So we don't just do it at the farmers markets. We do it at daycare centers. We do it at affordable housing complexes. So we work with those people and then we organize them around having sites where we drop up a whole bunch of boxes so that people can have access to the food, and also for us so that we can reduce our carbon footprint. So we don't do like delivery of boxes to people's houses. We deliver to groups of people, and we get people to talk to each other. We get people to talk about how they prepare the food, how they talk to each other around food, and that has been a very successful model for us. We also work with health clinics. We work with graduate housing. We have like 4 or 5 drop-off sites at UCLA, at the law school, at the graduate student housing, at the regular student housing, at the medical center. So we've been really focusing on this out-of-the-box kind of a concept of getting organic food to people. Another one of the programs that we've developed is having the CSA model brought to employees at particular companies. So with people like Sony, we have 2 drop-off sites at a company where the employees got together and they asked us to come and supply them. So we deliver the box at their job site, and then they take it with them at the end of the day. So this is like a concept that we've been developing even further with Mattel. We propose the same thing. So they offer this as an employee benefit for their wellness programs, and then it creates a relationship with us as the farmer to be able to have, this is very unusual, you're delivering to somebody's job. It's an unheard of concept. So we've been really kind of developing that. There was only other farm that was doing this, but since there was Miguel in San Diego, and they have gone out of business about 2 years ago. So we've had the longest running CSA in LA, and so it allows us to have these special relationships with our consumers where we are actually interacting them on a daily basis. This last year, on the next phase of our development, was really to work on the idea of, okay, so we have these products, how can we give them shelf life? So we take some of the products from our farm, and through the work with Northern California Slow Money, we were able to get some funding to start up a commercial kitchen. So we're now processing many of our products and then bringing them to the farmers markets, to wholesale. Some of the locations up here, we're going to be working on that in the next year. So continue that development. So one of the goals around the healthy food is really, the focus on non-GMOs, to focus on the reduction of adding sugar to your products, to focus on adding, not adding fats into your products. So we have basically a kale chip product line that doesn't use any oil. We have like 10 varieties of that. We have a kale chip line. We can many of our culturally specific products like chilies, some of our beets, and we make also a variety of 4 or 5 varieties of salsa. We make cherry tomato sauce, regular tomato sauce, and additionally we take the spices that we grow on our farm, and then when we dry them, we also make spices out of that. We have this large collection of offerings that we have for folks. That's been our evolution. And the last part of our current project is really to focus on how do we do this more and how do we do this in different places. And this year we're trying to work with some of the folks at the Sustainable Law Center. And actually, Peter, if you're interested in this discussion, we've talked to Peter about this concept of what's called a DPO, or allows you to fundraise so that you can purchase more land. And really our problem, what's preventing us from doing more of what we do, is being able to get on land that we can grow more food. And that's really our next big challenge. So now we have a commercial kitchen that allows us to process many of our products. Now we need to move on. How do we do more of this great work? And you know, our core issue at this point is really nailing down some more land that we can have more groups do this kind of work, growing our processing capacity, growing our distribution capacity so that we could get these products to you. We could get these healthy products that everybody really wants. And we ourselves, you know, I've been up and supporting the Biosafety Alliance. We've been going all the way to Washington and all the different places to really talk about all the damage that we see happening with the, you know, this rush into this genetically modified organisms that we're being confronted. And I really would like you all to, we have labeled GMOs over here, and we have the Biosafety Alliance in the back over there, to really look at all the literature. I don't want to cover all of the material here, but to tell you that we as an organization and as Native farmers, Native American farmers, are extremely committed to land-raised varieties. We're committed to the community around growing food much more than anything else, and we're committed to our consumers. We're committed to the people and the relationships that we form with all the people around us. And really, at the end of the day, my vision is that we will have more hybridization of growing in our cities, that we will have, you know, not just that garden in that corner over there, but a lot of these green spaces where we grow grass, to really start to think about having food be grown and given to people, and everybody should have access. As the cost of fuel goes up, every time it goes up $1 or 50 cents, it's multiplied 3 or 4 times on the price of food. Why? Because most of our food is based on the availability of cheap fuel, whatever that is, whether it's electricity, coal, petrochemicals. The majority of all modern agriculture is highly dependent on that. So every time the fuel goes up, your food will go up. It's getting to the point where many of you cannot afford food anymore. And for us, we've been very committed to trying to keep organic food affordable for people. So I welcome any of you to come and talk to me, or if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, thank you so much, and let's keep this kind of work going. It's very fantastic. The organizers have done a fantastic job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tezo. I wanted to call our next panel. We have a couple of speakers that are going to address the topic of social responsibility and pathways to change, to community change. So we're going to get a couple of chairs up here, and Kate Green is going to lead us through the dialogue. We've got Theo Ferguson, Pam Larry. Who else on your list? Kelly Curry from Restaurant Opportunity Center United. Tezo from South Central, we just heard him speak. Jenny Houston from Farm to Table Services, and Community Food and Justice Coalition Fellow. So come up stage if you all will.
Yeah, I'm getting a little tired of sitting around here, folks. So I think I'm going to take a walk around here and show you some of the booths.
Is this working? Hi, everybody.
Quick walk around.
This event, I'm sure you can tell that Liberties. And that's kind of the point that we're trying to make out of this next panel here is everybody gets started in this different ways. And everybody has something to offer, whether it's graphic design, whether it's screaming, marching, writing letters, writing petitions, starting organizations.
So we have organic hot dogs.
I'm going to pass the mic to speakers here and help them introduce themselves once again. And
Not good for me. Vegan food.
just identify who you are and
I'm Theo Ferguson with Vital Systems and someone
my apple juice. Yeah, it's pretty ambitious. And this recipe calls for apple juice reduction. So I actually cooked it for about 20 minutes. Got the juice inside, and it became very concentrated and very sweet and very nice smelling. So if you leave it cool, it will house smell like the
kind of a table
water
toppy.
Okay,
But you
so
can
now
read it online. It's on the website.
I'm going to
Yeah, already
talk about the
soaking
of the nuts. How many of you know how to do that?
I don't know. I started
So, yeah, just have a knife, and this is how you hold the knife in a picture read, right? Like this, lightly. And you hold your apple with the claw grip, like this, so that you protect your fingers and your fingernails, right? And then you cut your apple in half. And then you start with the tip of your knife. You want to do it in a smooth motion like this, not just up and down, but very gentle, like this. And then to remove the seeds, you will use the apple quarter, right? So how you do that, you just put it in the middle, and push it like this, and you got it. Nice and
Do you use that?
And then you do the other side.
And then you put it under different names too. It's also in several food products. Awesome! Oh my gosh, you did
Yeah, coconut.
I'm
One thing this event lacks, need more food here. It's supposed to be a greater food fair. My only criticism.
It's a we that happened because people all over the state said yes and stood up to Rachel in the East Bay, Liz and Monica and all these, Frank and people in San Francisco, Mark and Marin. Everybody around the state joined hands and stood up and said yes. So it was all about a we. And we did our work on the streets, and then we got more we people that had money and professionalism, and then we became Prop 37. Unfortunately, we did not make it at the box office, but what we think California has sparked movement on the streets. And I've talked to the people that started the March Against Monsanto. The woman
Mentioned about Monsanto
which I think is also
Trans-Pacific
and she was so upset
Partnership.
that she, after the Monsanto Protection Act, the loss of Prop 37 put her over the edge, and so she became an activist and did the March Against Monsanto, which has grown hugely worldwide. I talked to people who, when we were doing Prop 37, Vermont and Connecticut and all sorts of folks started realizing, we too could do this. And so they did legislation. All the good things. We now have legislation in Connecticut and Maine They're talking a lot about soil
People in
erosion.
Washington State
They
started calling during 2011 and like through all sorts of permutations. So because of what we did here in California, we sparked and reminded people all across the country what we could do as a country. So that's what we have accomplished to date, and we're not stopping. We've got all sorts of good stuff to talk about. And
I should have stopped up at the grocery store before I came, folks.
Pass it along.
I think, oh, greater food fair. There'll be a bunch of food here. Oh well. That little hankering for any quinoa at the moment. I wanted to see some fruit at the very least. Bummer.
He's like, you know what? If you don't respect, you're in the wrong business. And I thought, wow, that can't be true, dude. Slavery's been.
It's always a pain in the ass trying to find food when you're a vegan.
After that, you know, looking for work, going on Craigslist.
I just buy the food fresh.
And then find for another job. I was keeping Southern California. And so, wow, I'm working, being fired left and right just because, you know, I'm somebody of integrity and looking hard, but not being treated well. And the second I'm speaking up, I'm like, get out of here. There's really people behind you who are working with a little bit of money and don't mind, you know, kicked to the teeth. So, shortly after, I found a restaurant opportunity center, which was started by a young lady from New York City after 9/11 to kind of get restaurant workers in tune with our power, with our ability to make a move on a more humanistic level. I actually wrote something I'd like to read before we close out. I'm not going to read it right now. It's in solidarity with workers. It's in solidarity with all of us who kind of come together to say, you know what, enough is enough. It's very difficult to face all of this that's out here and still realize that myself as one person
food
can
issues.
change it all with a thought, with an idea, with my own
I'm having an
heart.
issue right now with
That's why we're
food.
here today. So
I'm hungry and there's no food here.
for knowing that the food that we eat, whoever's behind the counter serving it to you deserves respect. Whoever's making it deserves respect. The animals that are sacrificing their lives many times for it deserve respect. The whole thing, we can do it all.
That wouldn't be such an
So,
issue,
I'm gonna pass the mic
except
on.
for I haven't had breakfast
I also
today.
started a wholesome homemade dog food company.
Recently just completed work on activiststream.com. The I was merging accounts, billing accounts, and the
We've been
tech
farming
support,
for
even though
thousands
they're
of years. For me, it
on
wasn't
call,
more like how I got
didn't
started,
bother to
but more
check
like how I reconnect
when we changed
with
IP
our
numbers,
farming traditions.
and they reinstalled
really
an
had a
old
lot to do with,
version
with
of the
my father,
software
who had
over
started
the new
project
site,
with
which
the
had just been
farm
coded
in
perfectly, and there was no
LA.
error messages.
We had gotten sick.
So I
ended
spent
up
the last
taking
3
care of
days
his plot
recoding the
for
site,
him. And I
and
got stuck
reposting
there
it.
forever, and I haven't been able to leave.
Activiststream.com.
So that's how I got
And
reconnected.
got some new
to this
features
whole
on the
process.
site.
But in reality,
So check it out.
it's been a really special moment because every time I do farming or I do harvesting or planting, you know, I always have that relationship with my father close to me. So for me, that was a kind of a bittersweet way of having that connection always, all the time.
Thank you, Tyson. Actually, I've been an advocate since I was a young person, but I came from a banking family. As a matter of fact, I came from a family that were called robber barons in the 1890s. There's this guy called J.P. Morgan, and there's this guy called Alexander Hamilton, and I happened to get some of their money. And I decided that I didn't want what they now have turned into. And so as I was just first starting to understand after being 60 and working all my life, and now I have a little bit of money, to me what I saw was that this money thing is really broken. And so I joined the Social Investment Forum, which is the professional group that deals with
Love of money is the root
social
of all
responsible
evil.
investments. And I thought, these guys are crazy. They have like indices. What's an index? It's a thing that goes up and down every single second, you know, every second or whatever. They go, man, I don't know anything about that. You know, I can't eat an index for breakfast.
Let me get a little closer with the camera. I think I'm going to leave the camera out for you folks. Just leave it parked.
So I started a thing called the Our Daily Bread Prize.
Come back and check out the
Basically about, you know, what really are all the impacts and consequences of an enterprise that has a product called a loaf of bread. It was an international prize. It was pretty interesting. In any case, evolutionarily going forward, I now, I joined, I think I was number 3 person in Slow Money, because I do believe that food and farming and soil fertility matter. And I catalyzed the formation of Slow Money Northern California, and then I said, okay, you guys can have your committees. I'm going to invest in local food and farming infrastructure. This is one of my favorite investments over here.
Yay.
And I just want you to know that basically we've got 2 prongs of fundamental way that we can extend our power. One is through our political action, which was so eloquently presented by some of the folks in the last panel, with celebration in between, because that's got to be part of our future. And the other one is remember that your money, you know, look around. Is there a new restaurant? Is there a group of farmers? You know, every level, whatever it is that you have, think about the fact that right now, we are what's called indentures eaters. We have the least amount of money that we spend per week on food of any country in the world. That sucks. You know, I mean, that's ridiculous. And so we wonder why we spend all our money on type 2 diabetes and what have you. And when you think that the Center for Disease Control says that all of our kids born after 2000 are going to have type 2 diabetes by the time they're 30, this is not okay with me, and I hope it's not okay with you. So don't forget that GMOs are deadly. They kill the soil and all the fabulous nutrients that are uptaken in your body to make sure that your brain and your guts digest the food and give you the power to speak up, live your lives, spend your money wisely, collectively join yourselves together and eat beautiful food.
Thank you. Before we take questions from the audience, I just wanted to say there was a speaker that we were trying to get to come here today as well, who made me aware of his new website called Earth Open Source. And I really encourage everybody to look up this Earth Open Source. He's got something on there called the Earth Open Source Manifesto. And it's 2 or 3 pages. It's really kind of just probably the beginning of explaining how our food issues are connected to all of the other really big challenges of our time. You know, poverty and war and you name it. So check it out. It's really interesting. I think that's a really compelling standpoint to start bringing it up with other people, these issues up with other people. Because sometimes it seems like, oh, it's all about food and, you know, they look at you and they see you eating well, hopefully. It's really connected to everything. So anybody got questions for our panel here? Question about how you can get started. Do you want to come up or
verbalize it here. So, Pam, what is next after Prop 37? I'm not in that brain trust that would be planning a future after 37, but what is the buzz around that?
did everybody hear the question? It's what's next after Prop 37?
Well, what's next? There are so many things next, and you're welcome to come be in the Brain Trust if you want to be. We're a pretty open group that welcomes anybody who wants to do the work with us. We've been busy all around the state. Just recently, Los Angeles City, 2 of the city council members have come forward, and they're going to get a GMO ban, growing GMOs in Los Angeles going. That was just announced this week, or last week, I think. Humboldt County is doing a ban. They should be handing in their language Monday or Tuesday. I'm working with them. As far as the statewide initiatives, we are talking to legislators right now about doing a baby food labeling legislative effort in California this next year. It's looking very promising, but we need everybody to join us to go talk to their legislators and get them on board with this. Right now, what we are focusing on is, I like to only have a couple of things because people get pretty overwhelmed. So I encourage people to work on 2 major things, and then it seems like areas around do their own stuff. But right now, we're just trying to get Washington passed. And so again, Tia suggested it, and I will beg you, plead with you, to please go to yeson522.com, click on volunteer. You will be taken to a page that will teach you how to phone bank. It will bring you a script. It will have talking points. And then all you have to have, you can do this in your home, all you need is a phone and a computer. The phone calls, the system calls you and calls the other group, other person, so that you will not incur, thanks, that's the word, the old brain here, the Halfheimer brain, incur charges. And you just talk to people, because we are still ahead in the polls up in Washington, which we were not in Prop 37 at this point in time. So we're still ahead up there. So it's about getting those people, because it's an off-election year. It's 100% mail-in ballot. So a lot of the people have already voted. Hopefully the system will work and delete those people that have already voted, because of the scary way we live right now. They can keep track of all that stuff everywhere. So you should still be calling people who have not sent in their ballot, and it is to get them to go and get the ballot and get it sent in. We're also asking people to call your legislators to say no fast track to the TPP. We're hearing again that could be voted on within the next couple of weeks. Trans-Pacific Partnership could negate a whole bunch of stuff for us and make it very difficult for local food sovereignty. Once this is open, I've just found out about the foods. Well, I've been hearing about it, but it's becoming a big issue. The Food Modernization, Safety and Modernization Act, which is going to basically screw every local farming program involved. It's going to mess with CSAs, farm-to-school programs, everything, because it's going to put onerous stuff on farmers. So the work is ongoing, and it's about having fun, finding a place to keep not burned out, to acknowledge when we're tired and take a little break, but never with the thought that we're going to run away completely, that we're going to, like I did yesterday, go take myself to a nice lunch and, and just pamper myself and then get back in the fray. I'm still a volunteer. I'm still working more than a full-time job, and I'm hoping that more of you will join us and learn more.
I'm assuming we have a little more time. Liz, I know you had a question.
I guess, should I do the mic or?
Have fun with the mic.
Okay.
It's really fun, by the way. I recommend it. Come here.
Yeah, so this is kind of echoey. So my question is, there's so many issues represented here: restaurants, GMOs, good farming practices. How do we bring these all together as a consumer, as an activist? How do we make sure that we're not so focused on one issue that we're forgetting other things? How do we decide in the store what are we going to prioritize? So that's my question.
Yeah, I just want to share that one of Vital Systems' primary efforts is called the Good Food Web. And the Good Food Web basically is a social media activity, a global social media activity, in which farmers basically can find experts, consultants to help them grow their businesses, certainly including organic pet food businesses, and can basically get themselves what we call opportunity ready. It also has investors who are looking for quality local food and farming and infrastructure investments, and it's also incorporating bookkeeping. So if any of you people are looking to be local investors and you go, oh man, I don't want to do all this, it's just too much work, I have to eat, never mind. As long as we can identify other ways to help each other basically spiral up good food to everybody, everywhere. And then we can put aside the folks who have owned over 85% of our food, the 5 or 6 companies, for only 2 generations, so we can take it back.
I think that's super important. also kind of like pace yourself when you're looking like all the stuff's coming at you. There's like the bad food. There's people in restaurants being exploited. I think take it all in and like just kind of breathe with it, and then realize you can't fix everything, and gravitate towards what your heart is leading you to. You're going to have fun. And when I go to volunteer with organizations, honestly, I go to see if they have an infrastructure that's going to sustain my work, my interest, if it's going to take care of me at all, even just with, the level of interaction with the people that are, involved in recruiting volunteers, and that do you feel good hanging out with them, period, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. And whatever you're interested in as well. At some point, do I have a chance to read this? Okay, this is something that, it's funny you asked that question, because this is kind of, I was looking at the panel and seeing like, wow, there's a lot of little stuff, and where do I fit in with labor and food? But this is called Brothers and Sisters Behind the Counter. I'm going to stand up. That's all right. And this is for people struggling behind counters, not making a lot of money. It's also for customers and people who aren't really aware of what goes on in restaurants and in kitchens. It begins as a slow unraveling. The understanding that everything you trusted is gone from you. You can't trust the water, you can't trust the air, you can't trust the food. You can't trust what is being sold to you. When you sit down in a restaurant and order your vegan latte skinny, your gluten-free, GMO-free, guilt-free sandwich made to order your way, what about the dude behind the register who's selling it to you? If you think you have it hard, what do you think he's up to? Even though his hair is green, his nail polish too, it doesn't mean he's getting paid at progressive wage to serve you. That artisan crafted sandwich, including its locally grown ingredients and sustainably grown tofu. Has it ever occurred to you that while we are lobbying and protesting for labels on our food, that those of us who are preparing it and handing it to you are getting paid less per hour or two than the sandwich cost you? It's a slow unraveling to understand that everything you trusted about fairness and equality was something that would never pertain to the American labor behind the counter. That there are giants fighting us to make Goliath look like a toddler. Like I said before, this whole thing needs to be brought up to speed from the days when Negroes and natives were in chains and white folks were the same, just a notch above, because their servitude was as indentures, not slaves. Now the greed that carried Africans from Timbuktu to Spain and back again has spilled into our food chain. The slow unraveling that takes place when you accept that you can't trust what you put in your body, not the air your baby breathes, not the water, not the food, can drive you slowly insane until you decide that you are alive and you're going to utilize your time and mind to grow something good. Get out and do something good, gardening in the hood. In addition, you are going to check on the brother and sister behind the counter. Even though the sign says no tips, you can believe their spirits will live where they understand that you understand. That they're starving and struggling and juggling through a job like this, watching $12 sandwiches float over counters all day into the night to make wrong shit right. And because you are here today at this Green Good Food Fest in San Francisco, you've made the choice to live another way. So slide some change inside his hand at the Domino's or the Wendy's or the McDonald's or the vegan GMO-free bistro, because I'm telling you, the sandwich you bought costs more than what we make in an hour or two. And try to pay some rent, have a phone, put some gas in your car. It begins as a slow unraveling and stops when you decide you are going to live another way. So do me a favor, when you leave here today and order your double chai tea latte, check for the brothers and sisters behind the counter and see their spirits lift when they get that you got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to also suggest a couple things. One real quick, because I've talked a lot, but for all the different groups to come together. We're a lot stronger in numbers to start talking to each other a lot more. We've been doing this in my hometown in Butte County, so that you've got a cohesive group that works together. I hear someone said that over in the East Bay, there's a lot of that already going on, and they asked me, and I'm surprised I remembered to mention that could be going on here in San Francisco also, and then combining the two, the East and San Francisco Bay together. There is a meeting tomorrow at the Ecology Center in Berkeley at 4 o'clock. But what we do then is in Chico is we have all these different groups that are all talking to each other, where we're all focused on our own areas, but when there's a need for bodies or like a protest or something, then we are all aligned already, and so then we are organized and we're ready to go out. We're also having a teach-in actually next Saturday, so that we can at least all be familiar with all of our different stuff. So that's one of the things we're doing to unite.
Clock. We have about 15 more minutes for this subject. So keep it going, Monica. Yeah, we want to hear your beautiful voice. Get up here.
My question was expressly about food systems, about the school district and it's very complicated. And I realize now that I didn't before that one has to face a lot of complicated challenges in trying to be loyal to what they think is right and just and still work within these incredibly complex mechanisms. And I wanted to ask Jenny if she would speak a little bit to what she's faced in trying to create something good and just and sustainable and somehow manage to work that off. So here's Jenny.
I sort of neglected to say what I really do, which is I help transform institutional food programs to local and sustainable. My team and I transformed the first Meals on Wheels program in the country in Oakland, California in 2008 to local and sustainable. And within 6 months, we were 75% of our foods were local and sustainable. And when the economy tanked, our food costs went up 1% because it didn't involve all the inputs and it wasn't traveling all that far. One other point, which is that right now, every calorie of food that we produce, it takes 11 calories of input. Previous to the end of World War II, it took half a calorie of input. It's not sustainable. And to Monica's question, it's a question of organizing. Just putting one foot in front of the other and having the information to know that it really doesn't cost any more. What it does cost more is the labor. And that's fine, because usually these organizations are required by law for the public meal programs to have living wages, sort of. They aren't really living wages. $12 doesn't quite cut it. But it's better than what the food business, and I've been in it, restaurants and all that stuff for years, and they're paying now what I started at in 1978. They're paying the same wages. Okay? I got out of culinary school in 1979. I made $8.50 an hour. When I got out of graduate school with 4 degrees, all in food, I was offered $35,000 a year. I looked at them and said, that's what I made in 1985 in a union house in New York. Something's terribly wrong. And part of what I work on is the labor issue. Huge part. Okay, because that's a huge part of it. People say it can't be done. It can be done. And it's going to build our local economies. And they'll be more resilient and less apt to be hit as hard by downturns and wiggles and waggles in the greater economy. Okay? And there's some that believe that the Great Depression was really ended by when our farms came back up and started being viable again. I hope that helped.
I was in the kitchen